こんにちは、ヨカワユキです。今日はですね、この番組に私の友達、英語ネイティブの友達のクリスが来てくれました。So, hello, Chris.
Hi, Yuki. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good.
And also, thank you for coming here today.
Well, thank you for hosting me.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, じゃあですね、まずちょっとクリスにですね、自己紹介をしてもらいたいなと思うので、ちょっとしてもらいましょうかね。Can you introduce yourself?
はい、はじめまして。私はカナダのクリスです。YouTube のクリスカメロから来ます。
Yeah.
皆
So,
さん、こんにちは。
こんにちは。こんにちは。Thank you very much. So, can you explain your channel, YouTube channel?
Oh, my channel is basically about cars mostly and other types of technology. I like to do electronics sometimes, but mostly cars and repair videos for handymen and people who want to fix things around the house or take care or maintain their property like their cars or maybe the utilities in their basement or things like that. So general how-to videos and automotive technology and things like that.
Mhm. Okay, so you love technology and also cars.
Definitely.
That's good. That's good. So
い
you
ろいろ
studied
の車
engineering.
が好き。
車が好き。Okay. Do you have favorite cars?
Probably the Camaro, that hence my channel's name, right? Chris
Uh-huh.
Camaro. So
Uh-huh.
I own a Camaro, and I also have a Monte Carlo, and I used to have a Grand Prix, and before that I had a Grand Am. So these are all General Motors vehicles. They're all from around the same time period, and this is my favorite era of vehicle for daily driving. But the
Mm.
Camaro is the newest car, and I like the old ones too, but they're very difficult to find and purchase. So obviously, I had to make a compromise with this 2013 Camaro that I have, but it's my favorite.
I see, I see. Thank you very much. そしたらですね、ちょっと私たちがどうやって会ったかですね、についてですね、少しお話をしたいと思うんですけど、So, I think we met online and that was more than like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I think. I don't know.
Probably around 15 or more. It was Japan Pen Friend, I believe, which was a website that
Mhm,
allows people to share their language with each other and
mhm,
do pen pal type communications.
mhm.
So I think I found your profile there, and we started to teach each other Japanese and English, and then we met a few times in Japan.
Right, right. そうなんですよね。ランゲージエクスチェンジとかってよく日本だと言われてるんですけど、その自分の母国語と自分が学びたい言語の母国語の人がこう一緒に交流することによってお互いの言語を教え合って言語を身につけましょうみたいなそういうサイトが結構オンラインにはあってそこであったですね。That was a long time ago.
Yeah, time flies, as they say.
Yeah, yeah. So, and why did you start to learn Japanese?
Well, part of the reason is because it's useful in my line of work.
Mhm,
I mean, I'm an engineer, so as you know, the majority of the car market, or maybe half the car market, is Japanese automakers.
mhm, mhm,
So it comes in handy when you're doing business with customers or suppliers who happen to be in Japan. And
mhm,
I mean, it's not necessary most of the time because you can speak English usually,
mhm,
but it makes the relationship a lot better if you can say a few sentences and they appreciate it, and it helps smooth over some of the problems that you sometimes have at work with technical issues. It's a
mhm,
lot easier to get through them when you like each other, which
mhm,
is always my goal, is to have a friendship with my coworkers. If I can do that. And the
mhm,
other reason is just because I think that Japan is an amazing country with really nice people in it who are honest and real people, and they have very few of the characteristics that I dislike about the West. So I think that you guys are keeping a lot of the traditional values that I wish we had still today.
I see. So, あれですね、その日本語を勉強した理由としては、そのビジネスで、車関係の仕事で、今後使うことがあるんじゃないかっていうことで、勉強したっていうのと、あと、日本がとてもアメージングカントリーって今言ってくれましたけど、そんなことでっていうのでやってくれたっていうことですかね。
はい。日本人は
So,
とても優しい人です。
そうですか。Yeah, I'm just curious about that. You mentioned that the character which the West has you don't like. What kind of character? Like,
There's a lot of well, this might be a term that many people wouldn't understand, but it's very gamey,
gamey,
like Gamey, gamey. Like
oh,
it's like a game, you know. People play games with each other,
uh-huh,
so it's kind of part of being socially adept or being very clever socially, having a high social IQ, you know, very high
mm,
social intelligence.
uh-huh,
So they tend to try to manipulate each other. You know, they try to change the way other people think so that they can get what they want. You know, it's all very selfishly driven, a lot of corruption, a lot of selfish manipulation going on. And sometimes I guess you need this skill to survive, especially in the
mm,
West where it's very common. But
mm,
it's
mm,
nice to go on vacation in a country where people don't need this or
mm,
desire it, you know, when they can be honest with each other and
mm,
enjoy each other's company without that sort of social manipulation.
mhm,
So it makes me feel unencumbered. It makes me feel free. And I feel like a better person. I feel more willing to be happy, more willing to do good things for other people because I don't feel like other people have bad motives or bad intentions towards me.
mm. I see, I see.
Maybe a little bit too much information, eh?
Yeah, 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 I think so. But I think that maybe gaming is like in Japanese, we say 駆け引きかな? Yeah, in Japanese, 駆け引き.
That means
Yeah,
like gamey.
yeah, yeah, sort of gaming. I mean, it's more like strategic, but you intentionally do something for others and try to get what you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that kind of thing is kakehiki, we say. And some Japanese people actually do that in a romantic relationships or maybe in a business relationship or
Hmm.
even family relationships as well.
Yeah, it's quite common in business.
うん
でも日本人は多分ちょっと分かりにくいね。
わかりにくい。本当
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys learn stuff from us and we learn stuff from you, but I feel like we get the better deal because we learn good things from you and you learn bad things from us.
That's fine. Okay. Okay. So, when you study Japanese, how do you learn it?
Well, it's different for everybody, I think. I mean, I'm an
Mhm.
engineer, so my brain is very structured. It's very logical and, linear. So the
Uh-huh.
way I like to learn things is by trying to find rules that are very easy to, to remember because
Uh-huh.
memorization is not easy for me. So I have to come
Uh-huh.
up with rules.
Uh-huh.
But fortunately, Japanese is a very rule-based language, in my opinion. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe Japanese speakers might disagree with this, but I don't think a lot of people think about their own language very much, right? So for somebody learning, they tend to
Uh-huh.
think about the language more. And my
Uh-huh.
observations have been that Japanese is very structured and organized. So the way I learned it, or the way I started to learn it, was just to study all of the grammar
Uh-huh.
and some basic vocabulary and try to figure out the pattern, how to order the sentences, how to put the verbs and the nouns and the subjects and everything in order.
Mhm.
um, and that was pretty easy, I would say. Like I got to a level of proficiency where I could tell people what I wanted, pretty quickly. But the problem was after that, then it became very difficult because English has many nuances. English has many sayings and expressions and different ways of saying something. And they
Mhm.
don't translate directly into Japanese. They have an equivalent, but it's
Mhm.
not the same thing. It's mixed up. So when you learn the Japanese way of saying something, it's all out of order in your own head. So you have to do this translation all the time when you're talking. And it takes so much time to do the translation that you forget what it was you were trying to say. And it takes too long and it's very difficult. So that's kind of where I'm stuck right now. I mean, I did the easy part and now I'm moving on to, trying to explain things in a complex way. And that takes a lot of brain power for me because I just don't have that creative side, where people can just listen to some movies or some, anime or something and just absorb the information, like a baby would. I mean, I have trouble doing that as an adult, so very difficult.
Yeah, I see. I mean, yeah, I can imagine like, yeah, usually, for Japanese people, like, yeah, of course, we think in Japanese at first and then try to translate into English when you say something in English. That's the like maybe the most people do. And in that case, we have always trouble that the word order and also the words nuances.
Hmm.
So that's why yeah, that is the reason is because that I think English and Japanese is very, very different language.
I would agree.
Yeah, so that's why um we when we translate from Japanese sentences into English sentences, we we more like it's not like translation. We create like new sentences. That's
Hmm.
what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's the same for me too because I could think like that's the problem because you know what you want to say, and if I'm speaking in English, I don't even have to think about it. It just comes out of my mouth so easily. But when you want to say that to somebody in Japanese, you have to really break it down sentence by sentence, even clause by clause. You can't even break out one sentence. You have to separate each sentence into little clauses, and then you have to reorder them in your head and say, well, can I translate this or is there a different way of saying that? There's a normal way of saying this. And then, okay, I have to say it like in a totally new way. And how do I say that again? So it's just a lot of memory, a lot of retrieval. It takes so much time. And I think that it's the wrong way to learn. And probably I just need to get used to a different way of learning where I just start to pay more attention to natural speech and just, you know, memorize it, but not like you're trying to memorize it. But you know how sometimes you just memorize things when they're in a movie or in some music that you like. It just sticks in your head because you make an association with it. So it's easier to remember that way. So maybe there are some tricks there that I should start using.
Yeah. I can relate to it because um, I used to use like vocabulary book, but for me it's really tiring. I get bored easily, and then usually I can't finish the whole book.
Right.
But yeah, when I see some like really nice movies or YouTube videos, or maybe even if the song I like, I hear, and then I automatically remember the phrases. And also, it's really fun to doing some memo the phrases that I want to remember.
Hmm.
So I think it's more like learn effectively, I think.
Yeah, and it also helps if you have someone to practice with, and that's another major problem for me because Canada has カナダにはあまり日本人がいない.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like maybe 0.5%多分.
Yeah, but you live in Toronto, right? But no
Yeah, well,
Japanese.
Toronto is a very multicultural city in the world, but
Mm.
it fails on the Japanese side. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't like coming to Toronto, and I can't blame you. I really can't blame you. It's really not worth going to. But other people come here because there's maybe work opportunities or they
Uh,
like the multicultural environment. But I find a lot of Asians go to Vancouver because there's other Asians there. So it's just kind of like a transition from home to a new place. It's like a halfway house or something.
yeah, so I can't say anything because I have been to Vancouver before, but I haven't been to Toronto, so I can't say anything though.
That's okay. I'll make fun of the city for you.
はい。というわ けで、今日の動画いかがでしたでしょうか。皆さんもですね、ぜひこれ楽しんでいただけると嬉しいなというふうに思っています。クリスがね、結構ジョークを入れて会話をしてくる人なので、たまにちょっとジョーク私気づかなくて、スルーみたいな時もあるんですけども、でもとにかくですね、非常にお話しするの面白い人なんですよね。なので、私もちょっと終始笑ってたっていう感じだったんですが、この後もですね、クリスの話は続いているので、またちょっとビデオをですね、別のビデオとして続きの話をあげようかなというふうに思っています。で、あとはですね、クリスの英語はとても聞き取りやすい英語の部類かなというふうに私は思っています。で、あと、クリスは自分でも言ってるんですけれども、他の人よりも文法とかを崩して話すようなことを自分はいつもしないんだっていうふうに言っているので、そういう意味ではですね、聞き取りやすいし、内容も比較的理解しやすい英語になってるんじゃないかなと思います。なので、英語学習をね、している皆さんにとっては、良いリスニング教材の一つになるのかなというふうに思うので、ぜひ何回もですね、見ていただいて、楽しみがてら勉強みたいな感じで、してもらえるといいんじゃないかなというふうに思っています。はい。というわけで、今日もご視聴くださりどうもありがとうございました。チャンネル登録と高評価ボタン、ぜひぜひよろしくお願いいたします。あと、感想などもですね、コメントでお待ちしているので、ぜひよろしくお願いいたします。それからですね、クリスの YouTube チャンネルも概要欄の方に貼っているので、ぜひ覗いてみてください。はい。というわけで、今日は以上です。どうもありがとうございました。ではまた。